He did not like centralized banking. He liked decentralized banking. And we grew up with decentralized banking. There were state banks, county banks, there was all kinds of different banks there. There was no set standard. And that was the beauty of America. We had free market banking. And we're working, and there's a lot of people that are fighting to bring back free market banking. Marxism now, they want command market banking. That's what Lenin and Castro and everybody else. I run the money. I tell you what you do. We don't want that. We want free market banking. Yeah. And there's a big push to get free market banking going here again.
Well,
what do you do as far as trading with other countries?
With trading with other countries, you can trade with gold, silver, or their currency. You can go over there and buy their currency with gold or silver. Whatever fluctuates on the market. That's how we do it today. That's how we did it back in the 19th century when we were trading. In fact, the early 20th century, right up till, the Federal Reserve notes didn't really start floating until the 20s, the roaring 20s. Then he pulled back and restricted them some and caused a crash. But prior to that, there, like I said, we were competing currencies.
If you're going to be traveling, let's say you're going to be traveling in Europe, you go to an international bank and you get yourself euros. That's what if you were
even the euro's fallen. That's centralized banking, and they're starting to. All the countries want to go back to their own currencies. England was smart enough never to leave it. Instead of entering a centralized currency. And like a lot of them are talking about going back to their old currencies and decentralized power.
Yeah, I think.
No, the world bankers want everybody under their one world order, the new world order. Of course they want it. They want everybody to say, you all owe me. I am the international banker. As Jefferson said, I fear the international bankers more than I do standing army. And everybody, I own everybody. You understand that? Here's the rules. I lend you money. You pay me back mucho interest, and I'll tell you what we're going to have.
Well, I got news for you, but who knows if in the future, because it's becoming such a rare commodity now, that you don't see clean water being used as a means of payment. Just like in the old days, they used to use salt. Okay.
Yeah, well, they did so, and people, the thing that you got to realize, you guys are most Americans are very conditioned to the Federal Reserve note. Most human beings on this planet today, the 7 billion that live there on its face, that while we're speaking, have never seen a Federal Reserve note, and they do barter in many different ways and just try to get by whatever way they can. So, the old style bartering still exists to, probably half the population on the planet Earth.
Yeah, you're right.
So, you got to look at things different. You're just conditioned to, I could have had the Federal Reserve note. That's the only thing that matters. Forget freedom, forget everything else. I want 4 houses and 3 Ferraris, and I want my Federal Reserve note. And then there's a lot of games and tricks and stuff and hoops you can jump through, and you can get that stuff. That's, but that's not the only thing there is in the world. There's more than the Federal Reserve note. That's what I'm just making you aware of.
Yeah. So tell me, what do you think of this new Showtime program, Billionaire, or Billions?
I saw an advertisement for it. I never, I don't get Showtime, so, but there's a lot of billionaires out there. The accumulation of wealth, especially with centralized banking systems, if you play your cards right, you can become one. And there's, we got a couple thousand billionaires.
Well, you know what's really something. You
could get lucky and win the lotto and
become a billionaire. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, yesterday,
they talk about nouveau riche. That's exactly what it's become. With one drawing of Powerball or the lottery, you could become a multi-millionaire, or who knows, maybe with Powerball, a billionaire even,
Yeah, but see that, and again, you're losing the real value of life sometimes. A lot of billionaires lose the real value of life. And, You know,
well,
the real
why,
value of life is a family and what our founders put down and what our, you know, succeeding generations went. And it's more than a Federal Reserve note. It's about freedom.
Hey,
it's about liberty.
You know,
it's about doing things for your family.
We can all point, I'm sure, in our childhood to, let's say, the one person we knew who, you know, never really had to work for, not that he never had to work, but that he was always given, okay, from the family. You know, father had a business, went into the father's business. You know, I mean, I knew a guy, I met a guy when I got married who was like that. You know, we went into his father's business. First house that he bought, you know, wasn't a big house or anything, but his father's men went to work 4 days a week, and every Friday they reported to his house, and they built up his house. And when he, you know, when it got to be whatever it was, and he sold it and bought something bigger, and they did the same thing. And every time he needed a car, his father would lease a car and have a 3-year lease, and he would turn the 3-year-old car over to his son. So he always was driving something that was, you know, relatively new and in good condition.
Yeah, well, that's the American dream. You know, I kind of grew up. My dad, you know, in small business world, and you know, the small business world's going through tough times now. You know, our family business is what it used to be. But you know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. These aren't billionaires. You're just talking guys that are living with a family dream. You know, I mean, now Trump, you know, he got in there. You know, his dad was fairly rich to begin with, but I mean, he really pulled the right strings and did the right things to, and you know, like especially the right investment. Even though he went bankrupt one time and stuff. I mean, but I still don't say I don't see Trump getting the nomination. I mean, when you got National Review saying, no, we don't want Trump. When you got all the Republican establishment saying, no, we don't want Trump. When you got the entire media saying, no, we don't want Trump. When you got the President of the United States of America saying, don't vote for Trump. I can't see how he's going to get the nomination.
Yeah, but you know something? And then you got Trump, who is smart enough not to take any of this stuff seriously. Yeah. And what did he say? He says, who reads the National Standard anymore anyway? You know? I mean, the National Review. Who reads it anymore anyway?
Yeah, the National Review anymore. I don't. Do you? I mean, I think it's one of the most boring magazines out there. It's like, really? These guys, I mean, I'm so tired of Krauthammer and Wheel. You know, those are the kind of guys who write for the National Review.
You know, you got
and Krauthammer and Wheel are so, like, lamestream media. I mean, they're just, like, lame. Oh, I'm George Wheel. I know what's good for you. George, just go retire. Get out of it. You know, it was bad enough we had to hear from you in the 80s. We don't want to hear from you anymore.
You know, I don't know if you picked up on some of the things that Sarah Palin said when she was endorsing.
Oh, yeah, she came out for Trump, too, man.
You know.
She's I picked up a little bit. I mean, but Palin's a little bit out there, man.
Well, that's because, number one, she's totally unscripted. You know, she just says the first thing that comes into her head, you know. And it would be interesting to see Trump.
Well, that's how Trump is, too. That's probably why she endorsed him, man.
Yeah, but you know what the difference is? Trump is an intelligent person, okay?
Yeah, he thinks a little before. He knows how to debate.
You know, when Trump tells you he went to Wharton School of Business and everything, I mean, he's no dummy, okay? He's really not. And as far as making a go of the businesses is concerned, I mean, look, an entrepreneur and a multi-billionaire like he is, you got to figure, you know, a couple of businesses are going to go belly up.
Yeah.
You know? And he's smart enough to be able to pick himself up and just go from there, you know.
I still don't see him getting a nomination. Who do you think's going to win the Iowa? You think Trump's going to get it?
Well, if he doesn't, Cruz will probably get it. So I think all of the news and all of the talk and everything in print right now, I think right now it's the Stop Cruz movement, because you got the evangelicals in Iowa, and Cruz is very strong amongst the evangelicals. I mean, look, First of all, if Cruz gets it, you know what Trump's going to say? Big deal. You know why he's going to say big deal? Because he's going to
win New Hampshire.
Because in 08, it was
Santorum won it.
Huckabee won, I think, in 08.
Huckabee in 08 and Santorum in 12.
In 12. And what happened to their campaigns? Absolutely
nothing. And that's what he'll say. Yeah, I'll hear you.
And he'll be the first one to say that, and he wouldn't be lying, really.
No, he wouldn't be lying. He wouldn't be lying like Lying Ryan, the Obama bootlicker.
Yeah.
The new guy. They got the replace O'Boehner Jr. They got Lying Ryan.
Hey, look, it's a shame because I would like to, listen, when they start comparing Ryan to Boehner, and they say that Boehner would have liked to have worked with Obama on getting certain things passed, but the rest of the Republican Party wouldn't let him, I mean, that's pretty bad because I'd like to think that Ryan, who will probably be Speaker for quite a while because I don't see anybody taking it away from him. I don't think there's anybody stupid enough to want the job, And as long as the Republicans are controlling, the Congress, it'll be a Republican. I don't see the Democrats anytime soon taking over the Congress. They stand a better chance of gaining a few Senate seats. And
right.
And you watch.
Well, I mean, I don't even know. I wish we'd vote them all out. I don't like Republicans or Democrats. They need to downsize D.C. and allow the states to do their jobs. And give more block grants. And they've given a lot of block grants. So let the states do their job. Get away from this trying to run everything from D.C. There's only 535 of them. They should do the enumerated powers and step away from all this stuff. The states ain't going to let their environment down. The people aren't going to let their environment down. We don't. We got state EPAs. We don't need federal EPAs. We don't need duplications. We need to downsize it. We don't need 4.1 million federal employees. We had less than 200,000 during the Eisenhower administration. From that time on, it's just kept growing in an upward spiral. We need to downsize D.C., and a lot of Americans feel that way. You might not. You might want to say everybody works for the government, and we want 300 million people working for the government. Really? How many people
really.
you use?
No, not at all. Not at all. Believe me.
Okay, I mean, we got too many in there now. There's just way too many. We need to cut so many programs. It's unbelievable. Like education, the federal education, they should get rid of the Department of Education. I mean, Carter's the one that initiated. Prior to Carter, there wasn't any. And you think education got better since we created this department in the United States? You're crazy.
All right.
Well, the problem is we shouldn't even have that department, period. Allow the states to do their own thing.
I got news for you. As a former teacher, okay, I can honestly say that, yes, a lot of money is wasted in education, but I'll tell you where it's wasted. The average person wants instantaneous results. In other words, if they buy a whole new set of textbooks or they have
I know what you're saying. Well, that's why but the states are moving more towards charter schools, cyber schools, free market schools. Get D.C. out of education. It was never meant to be there in the first place. It's not an enumerated power, and it's unconstitutional for them to tax us for
it. They don't wait. Certain programs.
There's a big push in this country right now to shut down the Department of Education in D.C. It needs to be shut down.
But I will say one thing. As much as I've seen